Axiom number 9, yellow and blue do make green. There are absolutes in art. There are time-honored artistic standards. You know, in other areas of endeavor, when you think of math or physics or English, what have you, we know that there are standards, there are truths, there are things that are absolutely true, there are absolutes, there are things that are complete in knowledge. And art is the same way. There is a lot of argument about that, however. You would never go, for example, to hear an orchestra where the conductor says, pick up any instrument you want, play whenever you want, play however you want, any song, good or bad, and it'll all be beautiful. Well, of course it would not be. It would be a cacophony of noise. Well, in art, there are standards, there are absolutes, there are principles to learn that have been time-honored, yet there is great argument about that today. I'm going to read on the training of painters by Richard Lack. Actually, he wrote some of these things in 1979, and he is a part of a great atelier painting tradition. And just some things to think about on the training of painters. He says the transmission of knowledge and skills from generation to generation is the process through which professions remain alive and vigorous. This remains as true for physics as it does for painting. It would therefore be valuable to review the various ways in which painters in the past were trained. Like his fellow artisans and craftsmen, the painter in the Middle Ages and on through the Renaissance was trained in the apprentice system. A young student who showed aptitude was indentured to the master at an early age, in some cases even before the age of 10. The apprentice started his career doing the most menial tasks, such as sweeping the floors, cleaning the studio, and washing brushes. Gradually, he was given more important jobs like grinding colors, laying in the underpaintings of the master's pictures, and transferring cartoons to panels. Finally, after sufficient experience, he was allowed to work on important pictures and to directly assist the master in executing commissioned work. The best students eventually became full-fledged masters themselves and opened studios of their own. In a society which provided a continuing demand for works of art, the apprentice system worked admirably. Not only did it produce a host of fine painters, but it undoubtedly turned out some of the greatest geniuses that the art of painting has ever seen. Michelangelo, Raphael, and Leonardo da Vinci being among the most notable examples. In fact, it would be difficult to refute the assertion that the apprentice system provided the most superior and thorough form of training painters ever devised. Another system, the Atelier System, is where an established painter opened his studio to a select group of students who paid a modest fee. These students were taught the elements of the craft of painting under the guidance of the master. They might even assist the painter in some of his own work, but the main emphasis was on developing their skills and talents to the point where they could be their own fully trained painters. The student was close enough to the master to observe all the procedures necessary to complete a successful picture. The studio was under the guidance of the master at all times, which enabled him to watch the development of each of his pupils, gearing his instruction to each individual need. These approaches had one common goal, the training of men and women to the point where they would be qualified to pursue careers as professional painters. Underlying this goal was the common understanding of what constituted a picture. While the various schools of painting, be they realist, decorative, or classical, would quarrel among themselves as to the true end of art, and while tastes would shift and patronage would change, there remained a more or less common agreement as to what a picture was. Namely, the abstract elements of a painting, its line, color, and value, should present an agreeable and harmonious unit to the cultivated eye. The execution of form and drawing should be based on skillful and selective translation of the facts of nature, and the subject chosen should be presented to the public in a tangible and understandable manner. To see is the student's first and last concern. Without a well-trained eye, a student can never rise above mediocrity. Besides the ability to see, it is also necessary for a student to develop a visual memory, sharpen his or her critical faculties and aesthetic sensibilities, and nurture an ever-growing knowledge and love of the great masters. Seeing, however, requires the most diligent and tireless effort and should be given top priority. The art of painting might be defined as the ability to create a happy union of form and color within the framework of a suitable composition. So in these words by Richard Lack from history, these truths are true even today on the training of painters and what it takes in art to create a successful picture. There are absolutes, there are many, many things to be learned. So I hope this is some food for thought for you on Axiom number 9.